Hey guys, today we are going to be talking about our curriculum hits, misses, and some things that just went a little bit different than we had planned when it comes to my middle schooler and my high schooler's homeschool curriculum this year. I have one middle schooler who is in 8th grade and two 9th graders for high school. So we're going to be talking about their experiences, what we loved, what we didn't like, and what we just had to make some tweaks and adjustments to. So let's get started. So first up on the list, let's tackle some of our greatest hits. Redefining School definitely lands itself in the top ranking for this year. My kids really enjoyed it. It is online classes. They have it for middle school and for high school, where you're learning about different authors and literature pieces. You have writing assignments that you are doing, great discussions. I have videos explaining how the high school curriculum works and how the middle school curriculum works. You can check it down in the link in my description. But these classes really ignited a love of learning in my kids this year. This is actually our second year using this curriculum, and they are just absolutely in love, to the point that my daughter actually found such a love of writing that she didn't have before, that she's actually going to be joining the Redefining School Writers Guild next year, which is for kids who are really serious about writing and want to improve in their writing abilities. They're going to have interviews with authors, different writing assignments, meeting together to share their work and to get feedback on it. So I'm really excited about that, as well as them continuing on with classes next year. Second would have to be teaching textbooks. So teaching textbooks is the math curriculum that we use for my middle schoolers and high schoolers. And it's really what's allowed us to keep consistent in their math, regardless of what chaos is going on in their lives. For my oldest son, teaching textbooks was actually his favorite curriculum for the entire year, which is a big shift. Typically math has not been, but he has really enjoyed Algebra 1. And he's like, Mom, it's just clicking. It just makes sense. So it's been exciting to see him have that. It also helps my ADHD kiddos having that immediate feedback. Once they insert their answer into the program, it tells them immediately if it's right or wrong. And it also will show them how to do it correctly. So that has always gone well for them. So definitely a hit there. Okay, so for physical education, we actually did two curriculums. We did Form and we did Thrive. Now, Form is a video-based program. It's online-based and it was excellent. The kids loved it. They learned so much about it. Again, I have a separate video all about that program and I'll leave it down in the description below. And then Thrive is Not Consume's version of physical education. So I had them pair those together because I felt like they both had their own strengths, and frankly, I couldn't choose between the two of them. So I just let them do both. The kids have found that to actually be really fun and interesting for them. They enjoyed all the information they learned from Form. They've enjoyed some of the assessments and the things that they're learning within the curriculum for Thrive, and they actually really pair well together and complement each other really great. So they definitely are standalone curriculums, but if you're looking for something to give your kids a really solid understanding of health and physical education, those two combined is a really good pick in my opinion. For our next hit, I'm telling you, we had a lot of hits this year. It was a great year. We had Homeschool ASL. This is an online ASL class that my 8th grader and one of my 9th graders took. This is my 9th grader's second year doing it, and they both absolutely love Miss Thea, who teaches the classes, and the actual coursework itself. So it's self-paced in a lot of ways. They can go through it as fast as they need to or slow as they need to, but what they love about it is they have opportunities to meet together at least once a month to practice their ASL with other students in the class. They also have opportunities to record themselves doing the different signs, to submit that to the teacher and get feedback on how they're doing with their signs. So it's not just something where you hope you're doing it right. You actually get that feedback, which really has helped their skills improve. And it's something that they both talk about a lot. And there's a love for deaf culture that is there that's just near and dear to my heart, as that's something I've always been really passionate about as well. Inquisicook is a class that my 8th grader took this year. She has always done great in the kitchen. She knows all the basic 101 skills and was kind of ready to take it to that next level. She really wanted to grow in her culinary talent, let's just say. And Inquisicook was the perfect fit for her. She already had those basic cooking 101 skills and even beyond that a little bit, and really wanted to grow in her culinary talent. So this course not only tells you how to cook recipes, but more so why certain things work and to really get into the methodology of cooking. So she absolutely loved this. There are just as many science experiments as there are recipes for you to make, and together it really helped her grow and develop. She really got into bread baking and has started to refine that skill. She got to cook all sorts of neat neat things throughout the year, and I would highly, highly recommend this course. It is designed for middle school to high school age. I believe it can be done younger, but the younger you go, the more hands-on you definitely are going to need to be with your child. But if you have someone who's looking for and getting into culinary school or something in that realm, this is a good course. Speaking of those skills that help your kids develop things they're interested in, we really loved Film School for Teens, YouTube for Teens course. My son wanted to start a YouTube channel, and his older brother had taken the YouTube for Teens course, I don't know, years ago, and really, really loved it and learned a lot from it. They've actually adapted it and updated it a little bit, and it's even better than I remember. So it's been a great experience for him, and he has been working really hard, pouring time and energy into learning all about filming and editing and coming up with video ideas and marketing and safety for online and so much more. My personal favorite would probably be our logic class that we did this year, The Art of Argument. My mom actually taught this class to my kids, and while they may not say it was their favorite class, this is definitely the class that gets talked about the most. We will be watching things, seeing debates or watching commercials or other things, and my kids are constantly like, that's a logical fallacy. Well, that's not a strong argument. You see, this is here or there, and they're mentioning all the things they learned in the class. So it has been something that really has impacted them and completely shifted the way that they perceive and see things from the outside world. So I think that that's a huge win in my book because it's something they're practically applying and very helpful for your kids. If you have middle schoolers especially, or high schoolers that have never had a logic class, I would recommend The Art of Argument 100%. Okay, but what about our misses? We couldn't have possibly had a perfect year. No, we did not have a perfect year, although we did have more good than bad this year, but we did have a few things that just fell a little flat. One of those things was IEW's Phonetic Zoo. We've been using this spelling program for several years now, actually, and had great success. But this year, my boys really asked to do something different. They were getting kind of frustrated and stuck on certain lessons, and they needed something a little bit more. So we switched over to using Spelling Power for the two boys, and they have really thrived with that system. It's honestly very simple to implement. It's a spelling program that goes through lists, traditional spelling lists, and then it incorporates a hands-on opportunity to reinforce the different words that they're struggling with. So that's worked really well for them. But for my daughter, she is still using and loving Phonetic Zoo. And when I mentioned the idea of maybe switching her over to Spelling Power 2 next year, she was like, no way, Mom, I'm loving it. I want to stick with it. She loves that self-starter things, those things that she's able to do independently. So again, not a bad curriculum, just it was a matter of finding the right fit for the right child. And not only is it important to find the right fit for the right child, but the right fit for the right season. So one of our misses this year was IEW Structure and Style. I was working on the structure and style with my son. With my oldest son, he has some learning needs and he had not completed it the year before. So our plan was to finish it up this year. However, we just didn't get around to it this year. And part of that was because I was so needed for my daughter who has medical needs that I wasn't able to give him the attention that he needed with it. So we got a little further in it, but we just kind of fell off. And that's probably more on me than on him, or definitely than the curriculum. He actually does really well with this curriculum. So I'm trying to figure out how next year I can get him some more help so that he can complete this curriculum, which is a good fit for him, but he just needs more assistance than what I'm able to consistently give with his sister's needs. Now, two things that were not misses, but we had to adapt, or we're kind of changing up for next year, is BiblioPlan. For BiblioPlan, we love doing their history. For my younger years, we love reading it all together. For the older years, they have the kids break off and do their own thing, although it correlates with what you're doing with the younger ones. So it was kind of nice that we could have those discussions and talk about what we learned in history, even though we were reading separately. However, it is a very, very, very heavy-based reading program. Now, it does have an audiobook for it, which was a huge lifesaver for my child with auditory processing issues and dyslexia. However, it was still so heavy on the reading, I felt like he didn't get as much out of it as he could have if it had had some more visual elements. So next year, I'm kind of looking at having my daughter continue with it because she loved it. But for my son, I'm thinking about maybe doing something that has a few more visual components to it, maybe some video or maybe online to make history more accessible for his needs. Another one that kind of falls in this other category is the Apologia literature courses. So we tried the Apologia literature courses with my kiddos and they did really great with them. I like the fact that they're self-paced. I love the fact they include the book with it so you don't have to buy it. They have auditory options. They have videos built in. That is fantastic and great. what my problem was is that my kids had already experienced and been around that Redefining School program. And they absolutely love Miss Mindy, who's the teacher there, and love the class and the interaction with other students. And I think that's something they were missing heavily when it came to the Apologia literature courses. So we had planned to do 2 Apologia literature courses and 2 of Miss Mindy's classes and have them alternate. But ultimately, we ended up only doing 1 of the Apologia literature courses and 3 of Miss Mindy's classes because they just wanted to go back to having that interactive material. So not a miss, but one that we ended up swapping over just due to their preferences. Both are solid programs. And if you want to learn more about Redefining School and what they have to offer, check out this video here.